Easy call of the 3-bet here. Do I have any Viffer stories? No, I don't. I mean, I have been friendly with Viffer and know him, but nothing interesting. Gonna go ahead and stab here. The benefit of betting this hand, not only do I have the gut shot and 2 backdoor flush draws, but all of these cards block some of his continuing range, including his backdoor draws and such. So this is interesting that he's checking the ace. I'm going to go ahead and bet it. As bluff, of course. This is 10 high. Meanwhile, Elton, who's been tight passive, 3-bets me here. I open the small blind with Queen 8 suited. I still think it's just a good enough hand to call. Now we're check folding. Sanita ends up calling on the turn after a pretty long tank, and I'm just going to show this down, of course. Not strong enough to value bet anymore, and not weak enough to bluff. Hopefully he had like a ace king 6 something hand. All right. Good call by him on the turn, though. Like a very thin call there. And he was correct. Up here we call a 3-bet and c-bet. We're very likely to have the best hand here. He's not going to be 3-betting. I mean, like, yes, he 3-bets ace-ace. And we usually 4-bet ace-ace. So in that respect, he is, like, in a good spot, range versus range. It's an interesting spot. But he's not going to have 3x very often in his pre-flop 3-betting range. The dynamic of the last hand where I bluffed the ace turn is in a similar spot. It's similar-ish. The flop was a lot more draw heavy. Is playing into my mind right now. And I'm going to go for the value. The question is how big. It's obviously a little bit thin, but I think it's a very clear value bet. And I wouldn't even be shocked if I got hero called by a hand like queens in this spot. Meanwhile, down here, gonna block this turn 3-way. A lot of people saying hi. He did end up folding in the heads-up zoom. You probably want to see this ace-ace hand. I'm just assuming. We're going to 3-bet and 100% c-bet in this spot. I'm going to go with pot. I think that a couple sizings are okay here. Decided to mix it up on. This is a board that like is one of the worst ace high boards for us, but I still think we get to do a little bit of potting, and I'm interested in not necessarily allowing him to get like a free. A free look at a gut shot, or a cheap look at a gut shot. I'm not really sure. The problem with my pot size bet on the flop is that I don't think I represent the nut flush draw very well at all, which is why I'm not loving this turn bet. I don't think he would expect me to pot flop with nut diamonds, because that's the kind of hand that would really like to keep in his other diamond hands. So yeah, I'm not loving the turn bet. And I'm going to check the river, and I'm leaning towards check folding. It's pretty tough for him to float twice here with a hand that's worse than mine, unless it's like 5-5 or ace-5, and I don't think he's going to turn those into bluffs too often. All right, hopefully it was... We got his 5-5. Yes, we did. We got his 5-5. Meanwhile, I call a 3-bet Jack-10, 8-5. Decide to check back the Queen Jack-5 flop. Can go either way on the flop, and it's a good enough hand to bet call. But I like to have a little bit of deception in my check back range, and now I just check the turn as well. And the question now is whether I would value bet this hand or not. I think the answer is no, but I would call a bet. It's got some good calling properties, blocking the 8 of clubs, and being pretty high in my range. So it is just a call. He's got the air ball. And that's actually a good example of why you don't need to like always protect your hands and bet your pretty good stuff. Yeah, you want to keep in there hands that are essentially like drawing dead. He was more or less drawing dead with this hand. He needed to hit like backdoor ace-9 or 9-9 or ace-ace or just the 6. I mean, on the turn he could have hit the after the turn he could have hit the 9. No, he couldn't have actually. The 8 rather. And so like by keeping that in, I won like a good amount of extra money. And, you know, I still just had a bluff catcher on the river. It's not pleasant to be faced with a pot-sized bet when you have, like, a marginal hand, which is why I think a lot of people shy away from, like, slow playing, or it's not even slow playing because my hand's not that strong. But yeah, it's important sometimes. Okay, and over here, I'm going to barrel off. This was a 3-bet bet. And I'm just going to pot river, blocking the jack. A little bit of a loose 3-bet, as these cards are kind of disconnected from each other. I went with a small bet on flop and turn, large bet on the river, as you can see. We'll take it down. I'm going to call this 3-bet. My hand's not great, but now it is. Let's see what sizing he chooses if he bets. Could go either way here. I'm going to raise the flop this time. I changed my mind. I'm going to call. Joey, you like how Joey says, I love how Phil's casually crushing, cruising along, playing 51 heads up, while also playing micro stakes and explaining his play with the same amount of detail on both while answering questions. That's what I'm here for, man. More TBC, yeah. I am giving away too much free content. I can't help it. Like, I feel like I'm supposed to come in here and just like hang out, relax, not talk that much strategy, have some fun, but I'm kind of incapable. This is weird. I'm gonna pot and he's gonna fold, but there's also like something. So like whenever you have a full house and you're value betting a river and like frowning about it, then something, I guess that means something's wrong. But I just felt like he was kind of like a little bit polarized there. I could be wrong. I have bottom set, which is a very good hand here against Ronnie Q. Can go either way here. I'm going to raise this one. I think he should be doing a lot of checking on this board, I assume. I think I should have made it a little smaller. We're going to get this in. Just in case he's just in case he's crazy, I'm going to just call rather than put the rest in. Not crazy. Nice hand by him. And over here, we've been tricky once again. 3-bet, decided to check flop. He checked back, went with the small bet on the turn. And now we're going to go with the, I think half pot's the way to go. I'll go a little more. Hoping to get the bet 3-bet in. But we're representing a value range of like king, queen, ace, king, ace, ace. And then the occasional very strong hand, of course. I do think we're going to like run into like some queen deuce type stuff sometimes. Some potential bluff raises too from queen X or misdraws. He ended up calling. Given our blockers, I'm quite curious what he ended up with. Yeah, so hero call with just the queen X with diamonds. So we did actually miss some value the way we played it against his hand because he would have put in money on. He would have put in more money on the flop and turn. But I like to protect the weaker portions of my range. I'm fine with that line. Although if he's watching the stream, he's seen me be tricky several times now, so I need to chill out a little. Over here, we're gonna bet twice. He raised small blind. We called, and he bet flop. We called. We'll hop back up here, where I raised against his limp. I'm gonna block bet flop. And not going to be able to fold this hand. I mean, it's not a very good hand, but it's a little bit too much to fold. Going to go ahead and call. And 2550 heads up Zoom is starting with 3 players in the pool. I might join that instead. Thank you. Oh, interesting river. Sure, thank you. That's all right. This spot is... I could pot or I could check. I'm going to pot. 2 straights got there, but I do think I'll have some like 10-6, some occasional like 4-4. And my hand's like, I can check raise some straights. I can check call some like kings up or 10s up. And I think this is the strength of hand that prefers to bets. Just going to let him know I'm going to move 2550 soon because I don't want to, I don't know, immediately hit and run. Cool. He's going to do the same. I'll just go big twice here. I've been being tricky and sneaky a bunch with my strong hands. This time I do something different. Also, when I block 2 queens, he's going to have a lot of draws or 9x, and he's always calling 9x to this size, and he's folding his draws to any kind of reasonable size. So I think it's better just to go big and max value against the 9x. And he did have queen 9. Wow, he I mean, I won't say he's lucky. He lost quite a bit there, but could have been stacks quite easily. And actually, that's a spot where had I played it a little bit weaker on the turn, he might have check raised. My trickiness might have worked that time. Gonna bet there, and meanwhile I'm gonna 3-bet kings in the big blind here at 100 NL. Gonna 3-bet our friend Glory Man. Meanwhile, I half-pot river for value there, and he folded. I'm gonna sit out in that game and join the other pool. So we finished with 45K at 5,100. So quite a good result there. I was probably in for 10 to 15. So up 30K on the day, minus whatever I've been losing to these guys on Run It Once Poker. Although yesterday I did very well there, but not so much today. Sorry in advance, Glory Man RTS. Who is doing a lot of YOLOing. Oh, nice hand. Meanwhile, my opponent here says he's enjoying my stream. So, he probably knows how tricky I've been.